Hey, good morning. Welcome in and welcome back, everybody. It is Laura here. I'm a twin flame guide. I am a twin flame coach. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so we can be YouTube friends, because today I am going to dissect the twin astrology connected to two culminating transits happening today. The first one is between Mercury and Virgo in opposition to the North Node. And we also have the energy of the Sun sextile Lilith. And so all of these energies are working together because, as you can see up on the screen, we do have the Sun in Virgo, we have the South Node in Virgo, we have Mercury in Virgo, and the Vertex in Virgo, all sitting in the 7th house. The 7th house being Leo. And so we've got this stellium of Virgo energy in the 7th house, and that's what we're going to talk about first. But it is in opposition to the North Node in Pisces and the anti-vertex in Pisces sitting in the 1st house. We've got these energies, sextile Lilith in Scorpio in the 9th house, and Jupiter in Cancer in the 6th house. And then we have that trine of energies between this Virgo stellium and Taurus energy sitting in the 3rd house. So first, let's talk about this Virgo stellium, because the Sun is here to highlight awareness. And if you remember, I talked about yesterday the Sun in opposition to the North Node, and now we've got Mercury in the opposition to the North Node. We've got a lot of mercurial energies culminating this week, and we've got a lot of Lilith culminating energies this week. And so there's awareness around our purpose, and with the 7th house being connected to relationships, there are a lot of past life connections and karmic soul contracts coming up for clearing of all of these old relationship cycles within the Twin Flame Collective. And so relationships, partnerships, unions. I want to say open enemies are being exposed because there is going to be a lot of mirroring dynamics. With this opposition to the North Node in Pisces in the 1st house sitting in Aquarius, there is this pull between these old contracts and the surrender, I want to say, of stepping into sovereignty, right? The surrender of stepping into sovereignty, embracing selfhood, because the 1st house is the house of self, and taking charge of the spiritual direction that we are going towards. And so there's this very opposing, tense energy between self and others, between the past and between the future. And there's a lot of karmic ties coming up for severing in order for us to fully step into walking our karmic soul path right now. And so we are in between eclipse portals, and there's a lot of remembrance of who we are outside of all of these roles, outside of all of these old contracts, especially connected to others. And so this energy between these eclipses are affording us the opportunity to reclaim back our power, to reclaim back our authority, our autonomy, and to release what I want to say is a very heavy, prominent, distorted masculine energy, whether you are dealing with a distorted masculine projecting energies towards you, or you find yourself in this distorted masculine energy, because we do have both the masculine and feminine energies within. But there is a very prominent King of Wands reversed energy archetype in the astrology today. And this is really a distorted masculine energy that represents misuse of authority, misuse of power. This is connected to past life, karmic, patriarchal dynamics. And this is like a major, what I want to say is like a karmic rebalancing, especially connected to power and control in relationships. And so we've got this Sun, Mercury energy and South Node energy in this conjunction, in this stellium, in the 7th house, in the sextile to Lilith, sitting in this 9th house. And so the 9th house is the house of higher learning. It's the house of spiritual law. It's the house of our expansion of our worldly views. And it is the house of karma. I do believe it is connected to karma, similar to the 12th house. And so a sextile always creates an opportunity. It's a harmonious aspect, and it's an opportunity. And there's shadow work here that we have to do, connected to the repressed feminine archetype that can lead the divine feminine towards liberation. But there's a very uncomfortable truth here that does need to be faced in the energies. And it is about power and control. It is about desire. And I want to say betrayal in relationships. And so when we face the truth, then we can have the breakthrough moment. And so there is a wish fulfillment here, is what it feels like, connected to the 9th house. But there's also a purging through these illusions. Truth is always going to be liberating, but truth is also very triggering, right? And so we also have the Sun and Mercury and South Node in a conjunction together, right? Sitting in that sextile to Jupiter in Cancer, just past the cusp inside the 6th house. So kind of cusping the 5th and the 6th house. And so the 6th house is health. It's our daily work. It's our service. It's our daily habits. And Jupiter's going to expand, right? Whatever it's touching here. And Virgo is very analytical. And so there's like a re-evaluation here, or an opportunity to kind of integrate our spirituality, our day-to-day spirituality and our daily habits, and to step into growth, to release a lot of these patterns, right, of perfectionism, because Virgo does kind of want that perfection, that order, that control, and releasing the control. And so I do want to say healing today is going to come through self-care, tending to your body, really staying focused and grounded in the present moment with your routines, I feel is going to be big in the energies today, to create that work-life balance. And so anything that's not balanced, Jupiter's going to expand those imbalances. And because we've got Jupiter sitting at a karmic degree, this is adding a very heavy weight to the daily habits and these karmic soul contracts in themselves and the energies today. So are your habits serving your highest path? Are the people connected to you serving your highest path? Or are they keeping you stuck in these old cycles, these old karmic soul ties and patterns? And then with the Sun and Mercury together in a trine to the Moon, and Priapus and Taurus sitting in that 3rd house, always in opposition to, Priapus is always in opposition to Lilith. So there is a tense oppositional force between the 3rd and the 9th house at play as well. And so the trine opens up a portal gateway. Trines to me open up an energy. The Moon in Taurus wants stability. It wants grounding. It wants embodiment. And those are going to be really hard to satisfy right now with this deep pull towards excess, because Taurus in shadowy energy leads to excessive indulging. And so there's a very toxic, intoxicating shadow desire point here in opposition to the raw feminine energy. And this, I feel, is like an over-attachment to something. There's an over-attachment, whether it's to physical validation, physical security, material comfort. And so there's going to be communication. There's going to be downloads. There's going to be messages coming in about these mental patterns. And trines usually are a smooth flow of energy. But this kind of feels like an onslaught of divine downloads coming through. And there's going to be a lot of over mental stimulus here. There's going to be, I want to say, a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicities. There could be a lot of signs coming through, unexpected conversations. And these don't have to be conversations with people that you directly know. It can be conversations with your higher self, your guides. It can be conversations with a stranger on the street, or seeing something on like a billboard. There's going to be messages. There's going to be messages coming through. But because Priapus is in the 3rd house, which is connected to the shadow masculine element, there is like a revelation, I feel, of control dynamics with shadow masculine energy, or shadow desires, or the way maybe masculine energy has been distorted or projected. And I've been dealing with that personally the last couple of days in order to complete the 999 portal energies. And so there's like this karmic checkpoint still at play. We're in between the eclipses. So a lot of these energies that are going to be culminating throughout the new moon in Virgo on the 21st and throughout the fall equinox portal are going to be around karmic relationships and the self. And so all of these old soul contracts, past life soul contracts, past life karmic ties, they're all going to be illuminated, especially around distorted masculine archetypes. and where this has blocked justice, where this has blocked equality, where this has blocked authentic union for the counterparts. And so the path forward is the North Node right now, right? That is the path we are going towards in order for self-liberation, in order to reclaim back our spiritual sovereignty, and to trust in that divine alignment. That's what we're being asked to do right now. So anything that enters your life or leaves your life during this very fated karmic time period is divinely ordained, is divinely destined in order for us to release these old karmic soul ties. And so there's a lot of shadow work coming up for the feminine with the Lilith and Scorpio as well. And so there's going to be a lot of revelations of hidden truths about your desire too, where you've given your power away, where you have still not healed from the wound of betrayal. And so this is kind of necessary too for the divine feminine's transformation at this time. And Jupiter is actually supporting a lot of this energy, right? Because it's gonna expand, and it's going to point to where we need to heal, where we need to step into our service path, what needs to change in our daily life that isn't working. So anything not working in your daily life, that's going to be very loud. It's going to be very hard to ignore, because Jupiter's going to really bring that into the spotlight, where there is a lack of nurturing maybe in your daily routines, and where you need to, I'm hearing that song, is it Ordinary? that song on the radio, Ordinary. I think it's called Ordinary. Go check it out. It's a new artist. It keeps coming on the radio all the time, and I do feel that's a twin flame song coming together. But anyway, that just come out of the blue for me. But with this trine to the moon and this karmic checkpoint, I do feel there's just a lot of intuitive downloads, a lot of intuitive insights, a lot of messages from spirit that are really going to help us cut through the shadow of this masculine illusion. It feels like a masculine illusion. And so if we look back to the new moon in Virgo a couple of weeks ago at that 0 degree point, that kind of pulled back the curtain. The first new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees pulled back the veil, pulled back the curtain on this past life relationship karma. And then it began this, I want to say, 4-week portal of clearing this relationship karma, clearing the distorted masculine and feminine energy in the collective, releasing all of these old soul contracts in order to step into personal sovereignty. And so right now there's an integration of the shadow work happening. There's a lot of grounding in practical daily healing habits in our day-to-day life. There's a lot of messages flowing. There's a lot of divine messages flowing right now for many of us on the path. And it's going to come through signs. It's going to come through dreams. It's going to come through maybe just a divine revelation about the truth of karmic ties, karmic soul connections. And then there's that other layer where we're going to go a little bit deeper, because we have the sun in that sextile to Lilith in a perfecting transit as well. And so the sun in itself in Virgo is illuminating. It is the life force energy, right? It's forcing the clarity, and it's going to be forced through the Virgo archetype of discernment. Virgo demands discernment. And so we go back to that new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees, which kind of activated the purification of the past life soul contracts that we're purging right now in this portal. And so there's a lot of analysis connected to service right now. Virgo is asking us to refine, to heal. It is part of the healing access, and to sort out all of this illusion and to bring ourselves back into grounded truth. And so the shadow feminine in Lilith is exposing this raw truth. There could be taboo desires coming to the surface, a lot of hidden pain, a lot of purging of the hidden pain. There could also be a lot of deeply buried rage connected to the injustices of the distorted masculine collective, and where the feminine was forced to submit to this patriarchal distortion. And so the Scorpio Lilith energy is going to intensify these themes of power in order to embrace the death and rebirth process, so we can expose people's hidden motivations towards us. And when the mask slips, we can't unsee these hidden motivations. And so the sextile is a 60-degree angle. It's a harmonious, supportive, cooperative aspect, helping the feminine integrate the shadow into conscious awareness right now without very much resistance, okay? But there is still that opposition. It's almost like the shadow feminine, the distorted feminine, and the distorted masculine are kind of going head to head right now in an opposition. And so if you find a shadow masculine distorted energy trying to create a confrontation with you, divine feminine, keep yourself in check, because we are not to play into these lower vibrations right now. So energetically, the sun is shining a light on these Lilith truths in the collective. And Virgo is kind of carefully analyzing all of this. It's articulating what's been buried, maybe what's been shamed, or where there's been a lot of projections in the collective. And so it can be very overwhelming with the shadow revelations and the shadow material that is being activated right now in the collective. But I feel those that have been on the path and have been doing the work, we're going to be able to process it and digest it and use it to help sort out other issues, right? And so we're going to sort it, we're going to cleanse it, we're going to purify it, and then we're going to take the lessons that we've learned, and then we're going to apply it in our daily life. And so we're not just doing shadow work, right? We're integrating the shadow into embodied divinity, right? Because we need both the shadow and the light aspects. We are both masculine and feminine. We are both shadow and light. And so the 7th house is prominent because of the sun's placement. And so there's going to be all of these past life soul contracts coming back up online in order to work through the themes of power imbalances. There could be secrets coming to light. There could be like a massive betrayal coming forward. And we're going to have clarity, though, to call out these patterns. When we call out the patterns, or when we call out the manipulative, distorted behavior, we dissolve their hold on us. And then they're going to grasp even harder. That's usually how it works. The pot calling the kettle black. And so there's a very, I want to say, prominent theme in the astrology of karmic justice right now. And so you've probably already noticed the justice quality of the energies, the exposure in the energies. And there's like, the sun is bringing, I feel, all of these karmic truths to light. All of the misuse of masculine power is coming to the surface. And this isn't to knock masculine energy, but we do live in a patriarchal, third dimensional reality right now. And the feminine is coming back online. This is where we birth the Virgoan precision of the divine feminine. The archetype of Virgo is connected to the purification of the divine feminine. And so Virgo doesn't like chaos. Pisces is chaos. Virgo likes discernment. Virgo wants you to reclaim your discernment, because wish fulfillment is coming through the shadow work. We got to go through the forest. We have to unlock the illusions, remove the illusions, and we do that through the shadow work. And then we have to work through what we think we want versus what our soul actually desires, because the devil comes wrapped up in all kinds of beautiful things and presents itself as everything that you've wanted to hook you, okay? And so when we know how to work through our own shadow material, then we can stay rooted in our true, authentic, real alignment. And then we're not going to get dragged in to the distortions kind of being played out in the collective right now. And so with the 9th house connection, there are going to be a lot of shadow truths being activated, connected to our belief systems, connected to governments, connected to institutions, connected to spiritual law, connected to our world views, and then grounding in this higher wisdom. And so when we pull back the curtain, all of these old spiritual contracts or old spiritual dogmas kind of have to go to the surface, have to come to the surface, and we have to burn them away. And so there's like a hanged man lover's quality. So we're gaining a new perspective about twin flame as a whole, about divine counterpart union. And we're coming into all of these new expansive truths, especially if you've been awakened on the twin flame path. And so we're going to have to embrace what we've kind of suppressed. especially when it comes to the truth and illumination that's being revealed. And then we take all of this Virgo energy and we talk about the Hermit. It is spiritual wisdom. It is discernment. It is taking a light, shining it on the shadows, processing the shadows. And we do this in solitude. Virgo is a very solitary energy. And then we got the death quality at play with the Scorpio archetype. There's transformation here. There is ending of cycles. And we are in the year of the snake, which is the year of shedding all of these old dogmas, all of these old ego identities, and breaking the chains. When we break the chains to the devil, that's when we go through the death and the rebirth process. And so there's a very deep integration of transformation happening right now. And so whatever is being brought to light or into your awareness, you have to trust it was buried until now, because things weren't supposed to be clear and defined until this very moment for these eclipse portals. And so there's alchemy here in these energies. There's purification, there's clarity, there's service, there's desires. We are rewriting the codes of these karmic contracts, and we don't do that by avoidance or rejecting the shadow. We do this by integrating the shadow with discernment. And so there's going to be a lot of truths coming to light in all kinds of relationships, right? It can happen in person. It can happen in dreams. It can happen in conversations. It can even just be like an internal realization, like, I get it now. And so, and these are all going to be about dynamics of power and control, betrayal, suppressed desires. And so we can go into the overwhelming chaotic energies of the shadow, or we can take these revelations, we can click, click, click the puzzle pieces together into place, and we can organize all of these karmic downloads, because they are showing us exactly what we need to see and exactly how this distortion and this shadow has shaped our relationship contracts. And it's going to show us exactly what we need to do to release them. So with that being said, if you would like to go further with me with a personal reading, do feel free to check out the link below. There you will find a link to my webpage and all of the different reading offerings that I do have posted on the webpage. I will dig a little bit deeper with some cards and see if there are additional messages for the collective through the tarot and the oracle messages. So let's see what the cards have to say today. All right, let's break it down. Let's talk about these energies. For the oracle messages, I am using the Kyle Gray Gateway of Light activation deck. Yeah, I got it right. I got it right. So let's talk about these cards. And so we did get the Solar Light Upgrade card. along with the Venusian Galactic Council. So that's connected to the Divine Feminine, the Venus energy at play. And we did have some pretty significant harsh aspects with Venus yesterday. And so those are now in a separating energy. We got the halls of Amenti initiation. And there it is. That's the secrets revealed, the veil being pulled back, the curtain opening. And it is part of the initiation, right? When the masks drop with the people that we're connected to. And so the solar light upgrade, this is connected to the sun, bringing in this illumination. The solar plexus. I have been feeling the recalibration of energies between the sacral and the solar plexus for the last couple of days. Today, pretty significantly, to be honest. And so the solar plexus chakra is in focus. This is our energy source. This is our inner fire. This is our willpower. This is our drive. This is our desires. This is also where people can cord to us, where we leak our energy, where we give our power away. And so we're going through this initiation portal of the solar light upgrades, where we upgrade our DNA structure, we kind of ground in the ascension body, and we are very much connected right now to a lot of star beings, a lot of light guides, and we are being asked to answer the call, right? Because right now it's time for the twins to shine the light on the falsehoods, on the secrets that are being revealed. And so we're kind of walking through this portal gateway where all of this illumination is coming forward. There's a lot of analytical energy. There's a lot of truth. There's going to be a lot of outspoken truth coming forward. And on the bottom of the deck, we did get the higher heart activation. And below that, we have the ancestral realm. So there's that portal we're walking through. It actually looks like Stonehenge. I actually was so lucky enough to drive past Stonehenge on my trip to Glastonbury from London, England last summer. I didn't actually stop at the Stonehenge. We almost actually rear-ended a car on our way to Stonehenge. And so it is a very sacred site. This to me is saying a lot of spiritual downloads, a lot of light code activations. This higher heart activation definitely aligns with the Three of Swords in reversed that came out, which is speaking of dropping the shields. Your heart is healed. I do feel there is a masculine, a divine masculine, because the Emperor card did come out upright, that is releasing lack, releasing the old, distorted masculine archetype and projections, maybe even coming in asking for some type of assistance here. I'm really healing their heart, forgiving themselves, forgiving others, working through grief, working through sorrow. Below the ancestral realm is the soul star activation. And so the soul star activation is like the energy of the halo. It is the chakra above the crown chakra, and that is what gets activated when we go through the twin flame awakening journey. It's the soul star activation, right? When we see that person in their halo, in that angelic frequency, and once that soul star chakra is activated, and it kind of feels like a hawk, right? The hawk kind of rises above, has that higher vantage point. There is the fulfilling of the soul contracts that does commence once that soul star chakra is activated, and the clearing of the old karmic soul ties. And so because we did just go through the 999 energy, we are closing out a 10-year cycle, right? Because the 999 portal only happens every 10 years. And so we're closing out a 10-year cycle. I know a lot of the number syncs recently have been 999 on number plates, or 1010, completion. This to me says the activation of the downloads, of the stream of information coming in. And this does look like a portal gateway that we're walking through to heal the heart. And so in order to heal the heart, we have to purge everything that is not divine love. And we do have to go through the very painful process of dropping the shields and the walls around the heart, and allowing the emotions to flow. And so they're like showing me right now the image of a waterfall flowing. And so there is a star gathering here. It is the energy of the soul remembrance, remembering of home. I talked about this in a couple of readings recently. Soul family. We all incarnate with a similar soul family every life, or will incarnate, reincarnate with the same soul family to work out these old soul ties, these old karmic soul contracts. And so I do feel there is a lot of memories of Atlantis being activated in order for this spiritual ascension, because we are progressing towards spiritual technology as we go further along into the age of Aquarius. And so right now we are being activated into the portal of divine union, divine love, and we kind of have to sift through the illusions of what is not divine love. And so I love that the first card that came out in the tarot today is the Page of Air. And so this is about digging deeper. This is about doing a little bit of research, really understanding the masks that people wear. This is also too, don't share your ideas with just anybody. Keep those ideas and those thoughts to yourself, especially if you are being shown something, or maybe you're dealing with somebody that's a little bit outspoken. There could be a little bit of a childish type of communication here because it is pages, but there is a lot of information coming to light that I do feel the curtain started to peel back about 6 months ago in the winter, in the early spring, late winter. And so now the revelations are kind of coming full circle, and there's that Virgoan energy of organizing it all, organizing all of the information coming in, keeping something tight to your chest, holding something close, because she's kind of holding this Ace of Pentacles very close to her chest. And there's that higher heart activation, keeping this heart truth close to your chest, because not everybody deserves to know your plans, what you have in store, your ideas. Not everybody's going to be happy for you too. So you have to keep that in mind. And then we get the release. So I love that the Four of Pentacles in reversed fell right below the Halls of Initiation card. And so this is the treasures uncovered. This is the truth being uncovered. This is divine protection. 44 in the tarot is actually connected to the Four of Cups in reversed. So I find that very interesting. Key 44 is the Four of Cups in reverse. So there is this energy of releasing depression, releasing suppressed emotions, whatever's been kind of controlled below the surface, maybe due to like materialism, because pentacles are something earthly, something tangible. Maybe there's been a sense of controlling the emotions through filling the void materially, and we talked about that earlier in the astrology, the material aspect here. But there's healing from these distortions. There is a masculine healing from some type of abandonment wound or rejection wound. And it's like they're being invited to walk through the doorway of a new experience with the Five of Earth. It's almost like there's a masculine here reorganizing, restructuring their life. He's holding the World card, completing a karmic lesson, completing a karmic cycle. I want to say almost like an earth angel energy being activated. Definitely divine masculine energy coming through and being guided through this gateway portal by the angelic realms, by the ancestral realms, by a crossed over loved one. There is a major karmic release here connected to the masculine collective is what this feels like, healing the distorted lineage connected to the divine masculine. And there is a major energy coming through of boundaries in this reading today. And there is a tower, the tower energy, because it's divine timing. So this is connected to Mars. We do have Mars currently in Libra, and we are transforming our old beliefs. We are being dragged to where we need to go. There is a masculine here. Once again, a masculine here being guided by the angels to a new cycle. And so whatever was built on lies, whatever was built on falsities, whatever was built on shaky grounds, not being authentic, that is kind of crumbling to the ground. The tower comes to break us free, right? The tower can oftentimes be feared, but it comes to break us free. It comes to break down the illusions, to break down the false foundations, whether it's governments, institutions, relationships, a false home. It could be your body or like something connected to your health, for sure, because our body is a foundation. But all of this is to bring forward this realization of, hey, it's time to embrace these life changes. It's time to embrace the change of liberation, to step into liberation. And this tower is bringing in some type of higher soul contract, some type of reconciliation, a commitment, a divine union. And I do feel the clearing of that is happening right now, so we can come into the reunion and the reconciliation of the separation energy, the separation from source, and reconciling the inner masculine and the inner feminine. And so the last card out was the moon. And the moon came out in reverse, accompanied by the Six of Pentacles in reversed and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This is releasing the old legacy, the old family paradigm, and releasing the inconsistencies, releasing the imbalances. And so there's like a lower arcana energy of the justice in reversed. And when it comes out in reverse, this is where there is that karmic rebalancing, that karmic reckoning. And so the illusions are being shattered. The moon reversed is very revealing. There's revelations here. There's illusions here being exposed. And this is where we are kind of being shown where we really need to lean in and trust our intuition more, or where we've lacked trusting our intuition, or have been overly reliant on external advice, or overly reliant on tarot readers. And so the moon is also working through the fears, right? Because the illusion creates the fear for you to stay stuck in the shadows, in that illusion. And so what is done in the dark will always come to light. But it just feels like a huge, like a huge release with the Four of Earth reverse, the Three of Air reverse, the Moon reverse. And so this is like a huge outpouring, releasing of repressed emotions in order for healing, in order for forgiveness. And so you might find yourself working through waves of grief, waves of sorrow. This is an emotional tower. I feel there is a divine masculine having an awakening or a revelation about a divine counterpart union, about a soulmate connection, a higher connection here. And he's needing to find his willpower and his determination to answer the call. That's really what this is feeling like. And I do think that maybe he's been hiding from the truth, because the sword is like the person is behind the sword. And so there could also be like digging deep into some inner child wounds, into some inner child patterns here, and really analyzing the responsibilities of what true masculinity means. And has this person been supportive? Do they need to reorganize the structures in their life? What is it that they need to release? Maybe there's a bit of extravagance here. Maybe there has been some materialism, some greed, some withholding, some control energy here that is being released. And I do think fear of losing stability as well is being worked through. And then on the bottom of the deck, we did get the Awakening card in reverse. So this is the Hanged Man in reverse. And so this is the Awakening. When it's upright, it's stuck. It's not wanting to learn the lesson. And so this to me is screaming enlightenment is being gained. Something is getting kind of flipped upside down here. And so there is a new perspective being gained. Whatever's been paused, whatever's been delayed, whatever's been hidden when it comes to the truth is now coming to light in order for that perspective shift, in order for that new opening to happen. And so we talked about the energy of selflessness connected to the 999 portal, and the energy of 9 connected to Virgo and the Hermit. And so somebody here is definitely coming into a new sense of awareness, maybe of their shady behavior in the past. Maybe something was taken or moved on from without truth actually being brought forward, because we do see like this little boy on the Seven of Swords behind the bench. We have this little girl holding the sword of truth, and we've got this little boy kind of holding all his apples, all of these apples. Maybe he stole the apples from the little girl while she was sleeping, and she's got 2 apples in her basket, and he's got all of these other apples. It's like somebody moved on, holding all of their cards, holding all of their truth inside, walked away or moved on from a situation and left somebody sitting there with like a dagger in themselves or a dagger in their heart. And we do have a feminine here that maybe has been waiting for some type of karmic justice to play out. But I do feel there's like deep inner child healing connected to a partnership or soul commitment or soul contract here that needs to be done before the reconciliation ensues. And so there is the dropping of the shields, the opening of the heart. And so there is going to be challenges here. There's definitely challenges in these energies connected to karma right now. There's a lot of karma playing out. There's a lot of illusions. There's a lot of confusion. There is a lot of disillusionment in the energy. And then there's that 444, and there is divine protection as we go through the disillusionment here. And so there is going to be consequences being brought forward into our awareness. And I do think we are being called to be cautious, because the karmic law is always seeking to create that balance when it comes to injustices. And because this is past life deep, connected to ancestral traditions and breaking the chains of generational patterns, there's something very deep here. There could be a loss of prosperity in order to build something new. But I do feel there's like the holding something close to the chest. So what I really want to look at is I do want to look at the Page of Air, because this is the information coming in that is going to need to be analyzed. It's the first card out. So let's look at this information coming in. What is the information coming in? Okay. Well, there's that wounded warrior, the Nine of Wands reversed in the Strength. And so this new information coming in is going to trigger these deep-seated wounds. Is what this feels like. There is an activation of the wounded warrior archetype, and there is spiritual strength backing this. And so we have Leo energy, we have fire energy. There is divinely guided protection here. There's protection for sure here. So whatever information it is that is being downloaded for you personally or coming in, it's almost like you are prepared for this. It's coming in fast. And so you are now ready to embody the wounded warrior archetype. You're no longer in the wounded energy. You've persevered, and now it's time to find your courage to bring that knowledge forward in the collective with a sense of compassion. Because I do feel there's been blocked communication connected to this, almost like fear of sharing the gifts, or almost like blocks when it comes to moving forward. And once these blocks are removed, there's going to be a lot of accelerated movement forward. And so whatever this information is that's coming in, I do feel it could probably lead to a separation in a relationship where there is a lack of love, there's a lack of emotions. It is deep inner child healing for sure coming in. So what is the Five of Earth? Because I do feel this is connected to years. When I see Pentacles, I think of years. Looking back to about 5 years ago, where maybe a decision could have been made to answer the call for this masculine, and now it is time to shine and answer the call. And so I do feel, yeah, I think a masculine here is closing out a 7-year cycle. We get the Six of Air. And so that is connected to the Seven of Air. And so I don't know if a masculine had an opportunity to leave a stuck, stagnant cycle behind maybe 7 years ago or 5 years ago, closing out a 7-year cycle for healing. There was an opportunity for wish fulfillment. I'm going to say if you look back about 5 to 7 years ago. And I do think somebody tried to move on from a divine counterpart without dealing with the repercussions of the ending. There's consequences here. And so I do feel now it's time to sort this out, to get those swords all sorted out and laid out, to calm the emotional waters. There's a calming of these emotional waters. And there is a moving on from a very stuck, stagnant situation or a poor investment here. And then we get the healing. And so the Star does come after the Tower. And so the Tower to me is saying this change, this opportunity for change has been presented a couple of times for this masculine, and now the change is unavoidable. And so there's new inspiration coming in. I think there's relief and hope around the corner, and this is going to lead to fulfillment. But there is a need to hold the faith. And then we get the Magician and the renewal in reversed. And so the Magician is manifestation, it's empowerment, it's preparedness. The Magician has all of the tools that they need to create whatever reality that they choose. They know how to work with the elements. They have the universe on their side. But there is a need to go back to something with the Judgment reversed, with the Renewal reversed, and the Ace of Cups reversed. There is a need to reflect on distorted masculine patterns here connected to control, extravagance, and money dynamics, controlling money dynamics. And there is a need to go back and make up for a past mistake here with the Five of Swords in reversed. And so I do feel there's a masculine here, deep in self-evaluation, in the energy of reflection. The Judgment card does represent like the Judgment Day energy and recognizing truth from illusion and making that call. And so there's been resistance to the rebirth. I don't know if somebody's been dealing with a master manipulator. You think of a magician, they do manipulate energy. But it's like the manifestation of going back. It's like a masculine here has been searching, and he had it in his grasp all along. So he's going to have to go back for some type of reconciliation is really what this is feeling like for me today. And I do think reassessing a past mistake or a past decision that was made out of ego. So we're going to close off this reading today with a self-care message, whether it be a reflection, an affirmation, or an inspiration card. The bottom of the deck does say, keep good company, read good books, love good things, and cultivate soul and body as faithfully as you can. So let's get one inspirational message to close off this reading today. And look at, and they gave me an inspiration card. Imagine that. Have patience with all things, but first of all, have patience with yourself. So really sit in the energies because they're pretty chaotic, and ask yourself where you can be more patient with yourself, because there is a lot of information coming in. And right now there's a lot of mirroring. So how can you take that step back, look in the mirror today, and affirm those positive words into your life? When we move throughout the day and we affirm positivity in our life amidst all of the negative chaos and mirroring in the world, then we can really learn to love ourselves unconditionally and understand that we are always enough despite of what is going on around us. And that is what I have for a closing message today. So if you really resonated with this reading, it would really help me out if you like the video, comment on the video, share the video. It does help boost it in the algorithm. It does help boost the channel to be seen by more people who might need to hear the messages that I do put out there. I would appreciate it. If you would like to go further with a personal reading with me, like I said before, check out the description box below. I have different tiers of readings and mentorship and coaching that I do offer. And also stay tuned for a new mentorship program that I will be launching after the eclipses. And it is going to be three times a month, where we are going to go into 90-minute sessions in a group setting. And it will be astrology lessons and teaching you how to use astrology to know yourself better, to know relationships better, to work with the energies, to kind of use astrology as a tool for your ascension journey. So I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for the announcement of the new membership program. And with that being said, have a great day, everybody. I will see you all again tomorrow.